You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Today, Joplin police ends a 10-hour-long standoff with the arrest of a man wanted for murder in Illinois.
A fresh look outside at 7 a.m. on this Friday morning has us quiet to start, but cloud cover eager to build back in. And it's going to lead to some rain chances later on today. We'll break that down in the rest of the forecast coming up.
Also, we'll meet a golden retriever that's quite a fan favorite at the Boston Marathon, and now his fans rally behind him in his time of need. We'll have his story. All that and more coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. A 10-hour-long standoff in Joplin ends with the arrest of a man wanted for murder in Illinois. Incident started early Thursday morning around 1 a.m. Joplin police say an officer spotted the suspect, Christopher Eccles, and tried to stop him, but Eccles ran off to a house on South Connor. Around 11 a.m., police took the suspect into custody. Eccles is wanted for murder in Vermilion County, Illinois. Missouri State Highway Patrol and the Springfield Police Department assisted the JPD in the operation. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt is warning school districts and local public health departments that he will take legal action if they do not stop enforcing COVID-19 related health orders such as mask mandates and quarantine rules. In letters sent this week, Schmidt cited a Cole County judge's ruling last month that said health orders issued by local authorities under state health regulations were null and void. Schmidt's office is asking Missourians to send in photos and video from school districts that are still enforcing mask policies. The former Holiday Inn in Joplin has sat vacant for several years now, and there's been several plans to renovate the building into a new hotel facility, but so far, none have panned out. KOAM's Chris Warner sat down with Troy Bolander with the city of Joplin to find out what's being done to secure the site and what its future holds.
18. That's the number of times the former Holiday Inn has been on the agenda for the Building Board of Appeals. While it's not unusual for buildings in the city, it does mean that progress isn't really being made at the site, at least not physical progress.
We have a couple of name brand hotels that are currently looking at it, but anytime you have a vacant building, it's a liability not only to the city, but the people in that area.
Hotel development advisors took control of the property in August of 2020 after the original owner defaulted on a loan. In the presentations to the Building Board of Appeals, the primary concern has been security at the property. Late last year, following an incident resulting in a mayday call from 2 Joplin firefighters, the property was better secured by new fencing and sealing of outside access points.
Even then, it's difficult to keep people out of it. Any vacant building in any community is always a risk. You get vagrants and homeless people occupying those facilities, so that needs to be watched closely.
In one meeting of the Board of Appeals, the owners noted that after putting up some fencing, vagrants set fire to the boards to burn holes through them to get into the facility. In terms of getting something started, even with prospects on the table, Bolander says he's cautiously optimistic.
And unfortunately, that's a complicated project and a very expensive project, so you've seen a lot of deals that didn't come to fruition. Probably the latest one we've seen so far is the most promising. Try to manage expectations. Nothing's for sure until you get the building plans and someone applies for a permit.
As for the building being a danger, Bolander says the Board of Appeals can order a demolition if progress isn't made.
I think the leverage that you see or that the city has is actually through the building board. They've been watching it closely, so if they don't see progress or the investment group moving forward, then they'll make sure that something occurs that will happen at that location. But now they're giving the owner an opportunity to fix the situation.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Bolander adds that while the building is not part of the new 32nd Street Place, it is part of the TIF district, and the funds could potentially be used to help rehab the property if a name brand hotel decides to move forward with the building. The Joplin Regional Airport has completed some improvements. Over the summer, one of the airport's runways was rebuilt and runway lights replaced. In total, the project cost $14.5 million. City paid $600,000. The other $13.9 million came from a federal CARES Act grant. Officials say the improvements will boost the local economy.
One of the things that we needed to do as we moved into this, wherever we're going to go into the future, is having the capability of handling some larger aircraft on that runway. because we just do not know at this point in time what the market is going to bear.
After a rededication ceremony, guests were able to taxi out to the runway to check it out. Well, if you've been waiting all year for KFC's iconic 11 herbs and spices fire log, wait no more. You can now grab it exclusively on Walmart.com. It'll only set you back about $16. Now, I say only because besides having the aroma of KFC's world-famous fried chicken fill your home during the holidays, you could also possibly win what the company calls a once-in-a-lifetime KFC-themed vacation getaway. This includes a 3-day, 2-night stay for up to 8 people in a 7,000 square foot, 3-story luxury log cabin. Where? Well, you guessed it, Kentucky, of course. The company says to enter the giveaway, you must buy the log, scan the unique QR code on the packaging, and then fill out your information. The deadline to enter is New Year's Eve.
You know, it's bad enough that some companies have like cinnamon roll scented candles and all these like scents to fill the home.
It just make you so hungry, like fried
I know,
chicken.
I'm like, that's not going to help either.
No, they just make me want to eat more.
Yeah. Yeah, just to eat more as you cozy up, and you might as well cook the dinner a little more as you burn that log down too.
But you don't need to cook the dinner. You could just go pick it up from KFC.
Very true. All right, we're going to switch gears and let's break down our forecast here, because even though we don't have a lot going on right now, there's quite a bit to talk about, because we've got our next upper level wave really getting its act together over the Rockies. That's the next wave that will push a cold front out of Colorado from the western U.S. toward our direction. In the meantime, though, this stationary front skirted just to the north of us this morning. And in response, we've got that south wind back in action once again. That's been warming us up ever since we started the overnight. We have seen quite a few pockets of mist and fog, even dense in a couple of spots, but now we're starting to see more of the cloud cover build back in, but not necessarily any of the rain. That's still confined to central and certainly eastern parts of Oklahoma, south of Tulsa. But for some of you, despite rain chances in the forecast, some of you are going to miss out on it completely. But with that front coming in, mild ahead of it, quite mild, and a breezy day as well. That's why this part of southeast Kansas, west of 69 and along south of 54, some red flag warnings for you all until 6 o'clock this evening. We looked okay from 7th and Range line with, we'll say, calm skies for the time being. We're already at 61 degrees with that south breeze at 18 miles per hour. Everyone's starting out in our far northwestern counties, at least in the upper 40s still, but once you drop south of 54, everyone's trying to push into the well into the 50s, if not near 60 degrees, all because of the southerly wind that cranked back into gear through the overnight. Across the area in general, those winds are sustained between 10 and 20 miles per hour in gusts, at times trying to get back near 30, certainly throughout the course of the coming day. That's what's going to send us near 70 by noon and 74 for this afternoon. That is an impressive feat for early December, again, despite a lot of cloud cover that will build in throughout the course of the day. But with this next system working in, I want to keep an eye on the future tracks starting at around 10 or 11 o'clock. That's when we can see some scattered showers start working in. And then as we go into the afternoon, that's going to be our better shot today for any scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms. I think the better shot for any storms and even severe weather, though, will be well ahead of the front. We're talking about the Tennessee Valley, parts of the deep south. Because they contend with quite a bit of severe weather, especially this afternoon and tonight. For us, though, once we go into tonight, here comes that cold front. That'll start to clear things out as we go throughout the course of the night. And that's going to leave us in better shape for the weekend. But look at how cold it gets for Saturday morning. After we top out around 74 today, we'll drop back to 34 Saturday morning and 33 for Sunday morning. But it looks good for Saturday and Sunday. Highs in the lower to middle 50s. We'll bounce back to 63 on Monday. Mild for the middle of next week, but we'll also watch for more rain chances by the middle of the week.
All right, well, we're probably due for some rain at this point.
Yeah, some spots really need it. It's certainly to help out with those red flag warnings, but at the very least, we're going to look nice for Saturday and Sunday, even though we've got to take another tumble in temperatures.
Enjoy today.
Absolutely.
It'll be beautiful. All right, thanks, Nick. Up next, the FDA authorizes vaccine boosters for older teens. We'll have the latest. And later, it's not unusual to see drivers on a golf course, except in this case of a wild police pursuit in Florida. Yeah, we'll take you there. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The FDA has authorized vaccine boosters for older teens. President Biden also held a meeting yesterday with his COVID response team. Bradley Blackburn reports from New York, where cases of the Omicron variant are on the rise.
The FDA has expanded eligibility for Pfizer's COVID booster shot to 16 and 17-year-olds.
Unless we really double down on what we're doing, we could see an increased spike that goes even higher than that as we get deeper into December and January.
Only 26% of eligible Americans have gotten the booster so far. Just over 24% of those who can get the vaccine haven't gotten a single dose. President Biden held a meeting with his COVID-19 response team to talk about how to handle the new Omicron variant spreading around the country.
Here in New York, the governor announced 6 more cases of the Omicron variant, bringing the total to 20 in the state.
However, we expect these numbers to continue to rise. And at this point, we are prepared to say what we have is community spread. It is not coming from people who have traveled. It is being spread in the communities.
The Delta variant is still dominant in the U.S. 4 states, Maine, Michigan, New Hampshire, and Vermont, are currently seeing record hospitalizations. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
So, booster shot is now approved for 4 million more teens. A new study finds conducting a lottery to encourage COVID-19 vaccinations generally work. Researchers looked at data from March to July in 11 states that were offering prizes of at least $1 million. The average daily rate for all the states combined increased 23% after these programs were implemented. But the gain was not consistent across all the states. Arkansas, Kentucky, and West Virginia did not see an increase in vaccinations, but New Mexico, New York, Ohio, Maryland, Oregon, and Washington did. The study's authors say several factors could have contributed to the discrepancies, including politics, culture, socioeconomic differences, and geography. Study was published in the journal JAMA Network Open. Well, at least 5 colleges and universities are putting in place COVID-19 booster mandates for its students. Schools are rolling out requirements as extra protection against the virus on campus. 5 colleges include the University of Notre Dame, Syracuse University, Northeastern University, Smith College, and the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. Notre Dame students will be required to have a booster shot by mid-spring semester. Syracuse students will have to get the shot before the start of the spring semester. 4 adorable mountain lion cubs found under a picnic table near a Thousand Oaks, California office building last week. Okay, well, the National Park Service says its biologist assisted the California Department of Fish and Wildlife with the cubs. They were all females and appeared to be roughly 6 weeks old. They were thin but in stable condition. National Park Service biologists fitted them with tracking collars and collected biological samples. They waited to see if the mother would return. When she did not, they took the cubs to a local veterinarian, and sadly 2 of them died. The other 2 cubs were taken to a veterinary hospital for treatment. They will be housed at the Orange County Zoo for now until a permanent home can be found. Oh, they're so cute.
They are. At least it's nice to know that the 2 of them are getting treatment, and there's at least some good news out of this story.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're going to switch gears now. We're going to talk about the forecast because we've got yet another front eager to work in later on today, especially this cold front coming out of the Rockies and working back into the desert southwest. But in the short term, you saw that stationary front just to the north. That's what lifted on through during the overnight, and that's what brought that south wind back into action. Now it's trying to pull in some more cloud cover as more moisture gets pulled in with that southerly breeze. But we're still not yet seeing any rain in our immediate area on the radar network. We're dry. Then fortunately for some of you, even with rain chances in the forecast, some of you will stay dry as this system works on through. You couple that with another very mild day and quite a windy day too. Areas west of 69 and south of make that 54. On the Kansas side, those are red flag warnings for you until we hit 6 o'clock this evening. For now, though, 7th and range line, quite a bit of cloud cover for some, but at least we're dry to start this morning out. 61 in Joplin, south wind to 18. Humidity is starting to climb back up at 87%. Some of our far northern and western counties are still trying to get out of the upper 40s, but everyone is seeing temperatures from the mid 50s to about the lower 60s already, and we just got past sunrise this morning. So it's a good testament to how much the southerly wind at about 10 to 20 has done warming things up so far, with yet more warming to go throughout the course of the day. We're in the lower 60s and we'll hold there for many of you at 8 a.m. And then we'll push near 70 by noon and afternoon highs around 74. That's again doable with that south wind in action at 15 to 25 this afternoon. Despite all the cloud cover that will build in, then we'll keep an eye on the radar as we go toward 10 or 11 o'clock this morning. That's when we could see our first glimpses of scattered showers sneak on in. Then we'll continue to keep an eye on scattered showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms during the afternoon. Despite all of that, again, everyone pushes close to 74 degrees this afternoon. Once we get into the evening, though, here comes the cold front working in from the northwest. You can see how it'll switch our wind out of the northwest. That is going to dry things out for the rest of the weekend, but bring in much chillier air. Let's go 34 Saturday morning with highs around 50. We'll go to 56 on your Sunday. We will see mild temperatures return as we go into early next week, but once we hit the middle of next week, that's when we'll have more rain chances to return. We'll be right back. We are back. Spencer, a golden retriever therapy dog, offers a lot of motivation and support to the Boston Marathon runners every year. But now those runners, they're returning the favor as their four-legged friend battles an aggressive form of cancer. Natalie Polozzo has more on Spencer's fight to be ready for next year's marathon.
We were so grateful that he's still with us.
He's become a Boston Marathon highlight.
Good dog!
I missed that pace last year. Runners stopping along the 26-mile route to take pictures with Spencer. No matter the weather, the 12-year-old golden retriever is out there waving his Boston Strong flag, cheering on runners at his usual spot near Ashland State Park.
He was able to make it back to the marathon again this year, which was a huge thing for me because I thought he was never going to be able to do it again.
Rich Powers is talking about the 3.5-pound tumor that was removed before the marathon. But then last week they found another one, and Spencer had to undergo surgery again.
There's a certain cancer called hemangiosarcoma, which is pretty much a death sentence. We're hoping it's not that.
So while they wait, Dory and Rich are raising funds for cancer research. They have gotten thousands of messages of support and asking what they can do to help.
It's unbelievable the amount of support that we're receiving.
Spencer is now back home recovering alongside his niece, Penny. The Powers say he's a fighter.
He's a miracle boy, and I think he's needed, and he's not ready to go. He wants to go to that marathon again.
And once again, if you do want to help, you can certainly donate to the Morris Animal Foundation. They're the ones in charge of cancer research, especially in golden retrievers. We'll be back to honor today's four-state hero when we come back.
It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Dale Shepard. Staff Sergeant Dale Shepard served in the Army from 1944 to 1951, the 509th Provisional Group in the Pacific, Germany, and in Korea. He fought in World War II. His hometown, Chanute, Kansas. We thank you, Dale Shepard, this morning's four-state hero. A Florida golf course was the unusual scene of a high-speed police chase. Female suspect drove an SUV over fairways and across greens, trying to evade the sheriff's deputies. Jeannie Moose reports.
Instead of golfers using drivers, they were fleeing a driver at the Grand Harbor Golf Course in Vero Beach, Florida.
She was driving directly at golfers. She was driving at folks in golf carts.
The chase at around 1 in the afternoon started outside the golf course with a report of a disturbance. The 60-year-old woman driving the Toyota took off.
She was blowing through traffic signals, through red lights. She was going through stop signs.
And when she got to the golf course gate,
she actually crashed through.
Indian River County Sheriff's deputies gave chase. You could see people jump out of the way. One golfer said the suspect's SUV missed him by 3 feet just past the 17th hole. An unmarked deputy pickup then nudged the rear of the suspect's vehicle, spinning the Toyota so the deputies could box it in. The suspect jumped out of the vehicle.
Get on your knees right now! Get on your knees!
The arrest affidavit says she stated several times she was high on blow, aka cocaine. She's now being held on $411,000 bond, facing charges ranging from DUI to fleeing to aggravated assault. No one was hurt. It's not often a police chase makes it into golf week. This was anything but par for the course. Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
Good use of par for the course. I love that line. That's on my list too. Michael's not here to use it though. Another half hour of news and weather is just ahead. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, the new entry in the 20-year-old Halo franchise arrives, returning Master Chief to the PC and Xbox. Let's take a look. Families across the country decorate their homes with Christmas trees, holiday lights, and festive candles, but some of those decorations can also lead to disaster. We'll explain just ahead. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:30. Let's take a look at today's top stories. A 10-hour-long standoff in Joplin ends with the arrest of a man wanted for murder in Illinois. The incident started early Thursday morning around 1 a.m. Joplin police say an officer spotted the suspect, Christopher Eccles, and tried to stop him, but Eccles ran off to a house on South Connor. Around 11 a.m., police took the suspect into custody. Eccles is wanted for murder in Vermilion County, Illinois. Missouri State Highway Patrol and the Springfield Police Department assisted the JPD in the operation. Oklahoma has executed a man for the 1985 shooting death of an Oklahoma City area school teacher. Bigler Stauffer II received a 3-drug lethal injection yesterday at the Oklahoma State Penitentiary in McAllister. 79-year-old had maintained his innocence in the attack on Linda Reeves and her boyfriend, Doug Ivins, that left Reeves dead and Ivins seriously injured. The execution proceeded after courts rejected Stauffer's claim that the state's lethal injection method would result in unconstitutional pain and suffering. Oklahoma Attorney General John O'Connor said in a statement the execution was carried out with 0 complications. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt is warning school districts and local public health departments that he will take legal action if they do not stop enforcing COVID-19 related health orders such as mask mandates and quarantine rules. In letters sent this week, Schmidt cited a Cole County judge's ruling last month that said health orders issued by local authorities under state health regulations were null and void. Schmidt's office is asking Missourians to send in photos and video from school districts that are still enforcing mask policies. The Joplin Regional Airport completes some improvements. Over the summer, one of the airport's runways was rebuilt, and now runway lights are replaced. In total, the project cost $14.5 million. The city paid $600,000. The other $13.9 million came from a federal CARES Act grant. Officials say the improvements will boost the local economy.
One of the things that we needed to do as we moved into this, whatever we're going to go into the future, is having the capability of handling some larger aircraft on that runway, because we just do not know at this point in time what the market is going to bear.
After a rededication ceremony, guests were able to taxi out to the runway to check it out. Federal prosecutors say Josh Duggar downloaded images showing the sexual abuse of children onto a work computer in May of 2019. And on Thursday, the jury in the case found Duggar guilty. He was immediately taken into custody. Kendall Ashman reports.
How's Josh going to cope, Hannah?
Local to national media, we're all trying to get a word in with Duggar's family as they left the courthouse this morning, but no comment. While inside the courtroom, the jury delivered a handwritten guilty verdict for both receipt and possession of child pornography. The U.S. Attorney's Office calling this case a milestone in combating child pornography and child abuse.
It's a milestone for a lot of reasons, but a couple of the most important ones that come to mind is that it first and foremost shows that no person is above the law, regardless of their status in society, regardless of their wealth, regardless of their fame. This case shows that no person is above the law.
Throughout the week-and-a-half-long trial, the prosecution called several witnesses to the stand, from the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, to computer forensics experts.
This work is worth it. It is worth it because these are the types of cases that help us accomplish our goal of protecting the children in the communities of western Arkansas.
Last week, law enforcement agents testified that the child pornography found on Duggar's HP computer were downloaded through the dark web in May of 2019. They testified that through the IP address, they traced the downloaded porn back to Duggar's used car lot business.
Children who are photographed and videoed in manners such as this are the victims. And every time their videos and photos are traded online, uploaded and downloaded from the internet, they are victimized all over again.
During the trial, dozens of images and videos of child pornography found on Duggar's HP computer were both shown and described to the jury, as well as a recording between Duggar and special agents in November of 2019 during a search warrant. All of this evidence leading up to the jury's final decision, a guilty verdict.
That demonstrates that we are in this fight for the long haul, and we will continue to expend all the resources that are necessary to protect the children in western Arkansas.
Each charge carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Only the more serious charge, receipt of child pornography, will be considered in sentencing. Sentencing hearing will be scheduled in about 4 months. Defense attorney says they plan to appeal. Long before Elon Musk became the face of innovation with Tesla and SpaceX, he worked as a teaching assistant. It was 1995, and the young Musk was studying economics and physics at the University of Pennsylvania. As a teaching assistant at the university's Wharton School of Business, Musk helped grade exams and papers, and those items are now highly sought after and valuable. Some of the papers Musk graded recently sold in an online auction for more than $7,000. That figure included a 25% fee paid to the auction company. The buyer was not identified. What I want to know is, did he give them an A, a B, or an F?
I'd just be a little peeved because I could get my college transcripts for like $20.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming they're papers that he actually had comments on, you know, or something.
Oh,
that would have been
they're
like
not
worthwhile.
transcripts.
Like, were they motivational comments, or were they like, you suck? No.
Well, I mean, that'd be a pretty blunt but honest teaching assistant if we had comments like that. In the meantime, though, let's switch gears. Let's talk about our forecast, because we're changing things up once again as we get this weekend started. This upper wave coming out of the Rockies, that's ready to push our next cold front centered over Colorado for now, but it will start to quickly head our way as we go throughout the course of the day. We have just a stationary front part to the north. That's turning into a warm front later today, but no matter what its state, it's certainly pulling in that south breeze once again, pulling in cloud cover as we continue with the rest of the morning. And eventually it's going to pull in, try to at least, some of these rain showers coming out of north central and central parts of Oklahoma. For many of you, though, we're dry to start the day out. And unfortunately for some of you, you are going to see quite a dry day overall, even with these rain chances around. All these red flag warnings in southeast Kansas, that's because mainly dry for the day, and not to mention windy and quite mild, if not warm, with temperatures later on today pushing into the mid-70s. We look okay from 7th range line in Joplin right now, sitting at 61. Partly sunny skies with that south wind at 18 miles per hour. We have mostly everybody either near 50 to about 60 degrees. So a 10-degree spread in temperatures just about, thanks to that south wind that is certainly in action. Currently at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. We're not even including the gusts that have been trying to push near 25 at times as well. We'll be in the lower 60s at 8 a.m., 70 by noon, pushing afternoon highs to about 74 degrees. That, despite cloud cover, definitely on the increase as we go throughout the rest of the morning and certainly into the afternoon. The future track here, I think it's overdoing the expected rain coverage a bit, but we will start to see some showers work into parts of the area after 9 or 10 o'clock this morning. Then we'll just focus on some scattered showers, even a couple of thunderstorms during the afternoon. But at least ahead of the cold front, we'll be in the lower to middle 70s today. Then the front slides on through during the evening. That northwest breeze clears things out for the weekend, but turns chilly once again. As far as temperatures go, we'll drop to 34 or 33 for Saturday and Sunday morning. Lower to middle 50s with mostly sunny skies for Saturday and Sunday. We'll turn mild again early next week with more rain chances to watch by the middle of next week. We'll be right back. All right, this morning, our morning talker spending time in school, but not a lot of time, especially when it comes to Jack Rico. He's a pretty normal 15-year-old kid. He likes writing plays in his spare time and certainly playing video games, a kid after my own heart. And like a lot of kids, Rico even had some trouble with learning. In fact, he failed the third grade when his school introduced a new learning system. After that, Rico and his mother discussed his education and decided homeschooling will be the better option. And in that time, Mom discovered just how bright her son was. Fast forward, next Tuesday, he will be the youngest graduate in UNLV history, where he will be graduating with a total of 5 degrees. It is quite mind-boggling to see. I mean, I've heard stories about how people go through their masters and doctorates and graduating with 1 degree, but to graduate with 5, that is amazing to pull off. But that brings us to our morning talker for today. When did you ever get to finish school? I mean, granted, not all of us finished school as fast as young Rico did, but we've had a good number of people say at the very least college graduates, you've earned at least your college degree there at 51%. We've had some people at least graduate high school at 21% and some with college experience at 27%. You can feel free to chime in. You can vote at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote, and you can even vote, pardon me, through the KOAM News Now app for iOS and Android. We'll dive into video games when we come back.
During this time of year, families across the country decorate their homes with Christmas trees, holiday lights, and festive candles. But some of those decorations can also lead to a disaster. Andrea Klein-Thomas explains.
These two Christmas trees look similar, but there's one important difference. The one on the left has been watered regularly. In a safety demonstration, officials set it on fire, and after 30 seconds, it smolders out. The tree on the right hasn't been watered and is dry. The flames spread quickly. In 10 seconds, the ceiling catches fire, and soon the entire room is engulfed in flames. Experts say it's important to buy a new tree that's not already dry.
Bounce it on the ground, see if it has any needle drop. If it has a lot of needle drop, don't buy it.
A dry Christmas tree can go up in seconds. So it's so important, again, to keep that fresh tree watered, and you want to do that by watering it daily.
Nikki Fleming from the Consumer Product Safety Commission says trees need to be kept away from space heaters and anything flammable.
Putting up those decorations can also be dangerous. There are about 160 decorating-related injuries every day during the holiday season. Most of them happen when people fall off of a ladder.
That's what happened to Ken Wilson. The Tennessee homeowner recently fell 11 feet onto the concrete while putting up Christmas lights.
When I did fall, I guess I laid there for unconscious for a couple of minutes. I've got 6 fractured ribs.
You're getting up on that roof or placing decorations in different parts of the home. Make sure you have someone to assist you, to support you on that ladder.
Misplaced candles are also a safety risk. It's important to keep them away from curtains or anything else flammable. Experts say taking a few simple steps can help prevent a tragedy this holiday season. Andrea Klein-Thomas, CBS News, New York.
After numerous delays, including the pandemic, the highly anticipated game Halo Infinite is out today. Rick Damigella reports.
We protect humanity, whatever the cost.
But this wasn't the mission.
The missions change. They always do.
One of the most anticipated games of the year arrives with the release of Halo Infinite.
One bullet against an entire army. It's enough.
It's an overwhelmingly cool accomplishment from 343 Industries. There's been a lot of, hesitation and speculation, a little bit of negativity around this. They delayed the game. It's been in development for a very long time, and it was supposed to come out last year. And after they showed off some of the footage mid-2020, they decided to hold off on releasing the game.
What happened?
Something pushed back.
343 had to make a game that honored the 20-year history of Halo. This is one of the biggest brands in video games, but the core of it is being able to put on the Master Chief suit. You are humanity's last hope as this super soldier.
Together, we are unstoppable. Are you ready?
Halo Infinite's multiplayer mode is free to play with extensive microtransactions for customizing characters.
It's ambitious, this whole free-to-play multiplayer offering that they're doing with the multiplayer component of the game is completely brand new, but it's in keeping with a lot of the trends in multiplayer games that are happening right now. It's just crazy fun to play. So it works as a single-player game, and it absolutely works as a multiplayer game. I think it's one of, if not the best game of 2021.
Leveling up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
We'll be right back.
It's all down to the final two on The Masked Singer. We have a look at highlights from the past season leading up to all of this and what's in store for the grand finale. With that, let's bring in Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
It's set to be a power vocal, dance-filled, next-level entertaining finale on Fox's The Masked Singer, with the Queen of Hearts versus the Bull. Both have performed their hearts out, even bringing the judges to tears. Now, each of the final two contestants has one more chance to win it all in Season 6. Fellow competitors of this past season included music icons, legendary vocals spanning the genres. There were comedians having a ball in outrageous costumes. Even a couple reality TV stars joined in the fun. Plus, most recently revealed, a famous musical couple with a multitude of talents. This season also welcomes star duet partners to that stage, like Michael Bolton, former contestant Jesse McCartney, and judges Nicole Scherzinger and Robin Thicke.
Don't you worry about a thing.
A 2-hour, 2-part holiday-themed grand finale will reveal the Season 6 winner. So get in those final guesses and then see who takes the coveted Golden Mask Trophy Wednesday night, all right here on Fox. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's going to be quite an end to this season of The Masked Singer. In the meantime, we're shifting gears, showing you the surface map as we get the rest of our Friday morning underway. A stationary front actually snuck in during the overnight. That's what brought in that strong southerly wind back in action once again. But later, we're going to see this cold front out of Colorado in the desert southwest race our way. And as it does, we're continuing to see the cloud cover increase. And we're starting to see some signs now of a little bit of rain coming out of north central and central Oklahoma. It's going to try to overspread parts of the area over the next few hours. But despite that, it's not going to help the red flag warnings out in southeast Kansas since you've been so dry lately, and not to mention the front keeping us windy and quite mild today. Those red flag warnings until we hit 6 o'clock this evening. For now, though, we're dry at 7th and Range Line, looking from the east side of Joplin. We're at 61 with that south wind at 18 miles per hour. Temperatures around the rest of the region. Most of us now are at the very least in the lower 50s, but certainly as you work closer to Joplin, we're seeing temperatures right around 60 degrees as we work closer to the top of the 8 o'clock hour. So we'll be around 61 certainly by 8 a.m. for many of you, 70 by noon, and afternoon highs around 74. That is quite a mild day despite the cloud cover on the increase. But as long as that southerly wind comes back into action, it does not matter if we see those scattered showers come through or not. I think they will, but this doesn't change the fact that ahead of this cold front, we're still going to see not only just scattered showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms during the afternoon, it is going to push highs back into the mid 70s for the afternoon. We're going to dry out for the rest of the weekend though, but we're going to cool down quite a bit as well. We'll break that down with the final look at the 7-day when we come back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. The FDA authorized Pfizer booster shots for 16 and 17-year-olds. Boosters are already encouraged for everyone 18 and up. Public health officials are worried people who were vaccinated last winter and spring now have weakened immunity, especially against the new Omicron variant. A jury in Chicago convicted actor Jussie Smollett on 5 of 6 charges. He staged a racist, anti-gay attack on himself and lied to police about it. Smollett's attorney says he will appeal the verdict. Smollett was acquitted on a 6th count of lying to a detective weeks after saying he was attacked. Former President Trump's battle to shield documents from Congress and its investigation into the deadly attack on U.S. Capitol suffered a setback. A federal appeals court rejected President Trump's arguments for blocking through executive privilege records the committee considers vital to its investigation. Let's check in with Nick with a final look at your forecast.
I promised one last look at the 7-day, Tanya. Mild to start this morning, and we're almost pushing a warm afternoon ahead of us with highs near 74. We're dry to start the morning out, but later on today we'll watch for scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms to head our way as well. Behind that system, though, we're dry for the rest of the weekend, thankfully, but it's going to turn quite chillier. Only 50 for a high on Saturday and 56 Sunday.
Well, raise your glass to one of the world's most popular alcoholic beverages because today is National Lager Day. National Lager Day is celebrated every year on December 10th. There's no particular reason for that chosen date, but who needs a reason to drink beer, right? The cold conditioning process used to make lagers distinguishes it from other beers. In appearance, lagers can be pale, amber, or even somewhat dark. However, they're generally lighter brews, often described as crisp and refreshing. There you go. I like doing these national days.
I know, like these are,
They're
always entertaining, these national holidays.
Yeah, and sometimes they get twice a year, too.
Yes, they do.
And then Michael complains about that.
Speaking of, we thank you for joining us. You will see Michael back here with Tanya back on a Monday morning, and we'll certainly be back here at noon on KOAM with more news and weather.
That's right. Have a great morning and an even better day.